So you probably already know a list of the things that you should do if you want to lose weight. You know, all the obvious stuff, like you already know that you need to be in a calorie deficit if you want to lose weight. Again, the obvious things. Or you already know that you need to burn more calories than you eat, or just you need to eat less. Again, all of the obvious things. But what about the things that you shouldn't do if you want to lose weight?
You really didn't need to do that.
And you might be thinking that, well, shouldn't the things that you shouldn't do just be the opposite of the things that you should do? And if you think that, then in a way you would be right. But in today's video, I'm going to cover the not so obvious things that you shouldn't do if you want to lose weight. In today's video, I'm going to cover the things that you either don't know that you shouldn't be doing.
I didn't know that.
Or the things that you just have not thought about that you shouldn't be doing if you want to lose weight.
I never thought about it like that.
And the things that I'm going to discuss in today's video, I've spent the last 34 years of my career as a fat loss coach and a personal trainer helping my clients. I've tested these things on my clients successfully, so I know that these things work. So I've essentially taken all the guesswork out of it for you. So all you got to do is follow the things in this video. Make sure you don't do these things and lose all of the weight that you want to lose. And I can almost guarantee that you're doing at least a few of these things, and that's probably why you're watching this video today. So let's talk about the things that you should not do if you want to lose weight. And yes, I've been told before that I'm a little weird for telling people that they need to eat more to lose weight, or at least people have given me weird looks before when I've told them that they need to eat more to lose weight.
I'm ready to get weird.
But there's a thin line between eating too much and not eating enough. And if you notice that every time you weigh yourself, it seems like the scale never moves. It's not going up and it's not going down. There is a chance that you could be under eating or not eating enough. You see, the way I like to explain it to my clients is that every time you step on the scale, there's only three outcomes. It's either going to go up, it's going to go down, or it's going to stay the same. And each of these happening kind of points you in the direction as to what could be going on, what could be helping, or what could be the problem. Now, if your weight's going up when you step on the scale, this is an obvious one. This probably means that you're eating too much and you're not burning enough. Whereas on the other hand, if your weight's going down, this is another obvious one. This means that you're doing the right amount of exercise and you're eating the right amount if your goal is weight loss. So this really just becomes a process of elimination. So let's just say for this example, your weight's not going down. You're not gaining or you're not losing. It's just not moving. So if we've already eliminated the idea or the fact that you're not eating too much because your weight's not going up, and we've also eliminated the idea or the fact that you're not eating the right amount because your weight's not going down, then there's really only one other possibility, and that is that you're not eating enough. And I know it sounds crazy that your weight loss problem could be because you're not eating enough. However, what happens is that when you don't eat enough to supply your body with enough nutrition throughout the day, your body compensates by slowing down your metabolism, so you just burn less calories. And what happens is this leads to people being frustrated because they're doing all the things that they've been taught. They're doing all the things that they've been told they need to do to lose weight. But the problem is you've done that too good. You've cut your calories too far, and this leads to you slowing down your metabolism, which slows down your weight loss progress. And this is exactly what happened to my client, Steven. Now, Steven and I trained about 4.5 to 5 years ago, and we trained for about a month and a half. And it was like no matter what I tried with Steven, nothing worked. And this went on for about a month and a half before I even figured out what was going on. So I had him do a 250 calorie per day deficit. Nothing. Scale did not move. It didn't go up. It didn't go down. I had him doing 30 to 45 minutes of cardio 3 to 4 days a week on the days him and I were not working out together, and nothing happened. The scale didn't go up and the scale didn't go down. So after about a month and a half of us trying to get his weight to go down, nothing was working. And we were both about to give up. I told him, I said, I've tried everything and nothing's working. So obviously Stephen was frustrated and I was also frustrated and we were about to give up. But I said to him, I said, I know this is going to sound crazy, but let's try something. I said to Stephen, I said, do you trust me? And he said, yes.
I trust you.
So I said, instead of putting you on a 250 calorie per day deficit, let's increase your calories by 250 a day. And obviously he thought it sounded crazy. And to be quite honest with you, I also thought it sounded crazy.
You gotta listen to how crazy that sounds.
But it was the only thing that I can think of because it was the only thing that we hadn't tried yet. So I asked him if he'd do it, and he agreed to do it.
Anything for you.
And after a full week of him increasing his calories by 250 calories a day, it was weigh-in day. Stephen stepped on the scale, and to both of our surprise, his weight went down 1/4 pound. Now, I know you're watching this video right now and you're saying, big deal, it was 1/4 pound. However, if you're thinking like that, you're missing the point. We had tried everything over that month and a half and nothing worked. And not only was this the first time that the scale had moved down, but it was the first time that the scale had moved at all in that entire month and a half. So at that point, I thought that we might just be onto something.
They might be onto something there.
So I said to him, I said, since we increased your calories by 250 calories and the scale moved down 1/4 pound, that indicates that we're moving in the right direction. So I said to him, let's increase your calories by another 100 calories per day for the next week. And wouldn't you know, by the end of that week on his next weigh-in, his weight had gone down a whole nother pound. So now after 2 weeks of him increasing his calories, his weight had gone down a total of 1 1/4 pounds. And the both of us thought that this was a pretty big deal. And the reason why we thought this was a pretty big deal was the fact that this was the first time that his weight had gone down back-to-back weeks. And with this strategy, he continued to lose weight at about a rate of about 1/2 pound to 1 pound a week until he reached his final goal of losing 20 pounds. Now, can I say with 100% certainty that the fact that we increased his calories was the reason why he lost weight? And the answer is no. I can't say with 100% certainty. However, it was the only thing that we changed that actually worked. We decreased his calories, that didn't work. We increased his exercise, that didn't work. And as soon as we increased his calories, his weight immediately started going down. So although I can't say it with 100% certainty, I'm saying that it was the primary thing that led to him being able to finally lose weight. So if you're not losing weight, but you're also not gaining weight and you're barely eating, like you're eating once or twice a day and you're not snacking throughout the day, and you got to be honest with this assessment. But if this sounds like you, then it could be that you're not eating enough and that's why you're not losing weight. So the first do not do on my list is do not undereat. So I like to use multiple ways to track my clients' weight loss success. Like I like to use body fat scales, smart scales. I like to use tape measures. I like to use the way their clothes fit. I like to use more than just the scale to know if my clients are moving closer to their weight loss goals. Matter of fact, one of my clients just recently celebrated her birthday.
It's my birthday, birthday.
And she had a whole week of celebrating her birthday. And during that week of her birthday celebration, she had 2 to 3 days where she was off her diet, where she was kind of just eating whatever she wanted to eat, when that's at least what she told me.
To lighten the tension when things sort of get hard.
That's what she said.
But when she did her weigh-in, her weight only went up 1 pound, which she was so excited about because she thought that when she weighed in, it was going to be so much less because she had eaten so bad during that week of her birthday week. But when she tried on a pair of pants that fit the week before, and when she tried them on, she couldn't button or zip them, she was confused. And she said to me, she said, why is it that these pants don't fit even though I only gained 1 pound? And I told her that this weight gain was most likely water weight. You see, what happens when you eat and drink a lot of excess carbs, this pulls a lot of extra water into the cells, and this is probably what happened. But the good thing is that all she had to do was get back on her diet. And after 2 to 3 days of her being back on her diet, her weight was back down to what it was prior to her birthday week, and she was able to zip up and button those pants that she couldn't the week of her birthday. And this is why you never want to just rely on the scale when checking your progress to see if you're moving closer to your ultimate goal. So the second do not do on this list is do not just rely on the scale. Now, when most people want to lose weight, the first type of exercise they normally go for is cardio. And I think that this is for a few reasons, but one of the main reasons that cardio is the easiest, or at least one of the easiest forms of exercise you can do, because cardio or doing cardio can be as simple as just putting on your sneakers and going out for a walk. So it doesn't require any special equipment, and it doesn't even require a gym membership for you to do it. Plus, the chances of injury are much less when doing cardio as opposed to doing something like lifting weights. And I personally love cardio as a method of weight loss, but if done incorrectly, it can actually make it harder for you to lose weight. So you're probably wondering, how can you do cardio incorrectly for weight loss? And there's two main ways that you can do cardio incorrectly if your goal is weight loss, and they both have the same result. Now, the first is doing it too often and doing too much of it. And the second is doing it too intensely. You see, cardio is great at burning calories, but it's not great at burning fat when it's done the way most people do it. You see, when most people want to lose weight, they think that they need to do the most intense cardio that they can do. And they think they need to do these super long cardio sessions, and they think that they need to do them as often as they possibly can throughout the course of the week. And this is great for short-term weight loss. Like, I will admit that you will lose weight pretty quickly if you take this approach. But the problem is your body will quickly adapt and you will hit what's called a plateau. And this plateau means that your body has adjusted, your metabolism has slowed down, and you are now burning fewer calories, even doing that same intense amount of cardio that once worked to help you lose weight. And this is ultimately a dead-end approach for weight loss through cardio, because what this means is that in order for you to get your weight loss moving again, you've got to do more intense cardio, you've got to do it more frequently, and you've got to do it for longer periods of time. And there's only so much time throughout the course of the day that we can devote to doing more cardio. What I'm saying is that really long and intense cardio sessions aren't a bad idea for short-term weight loss, and they're actually really good for short-term weight loss. But if your goal is losing weight in the long term, they're not a great weight loss strategy. So the question is, if long and intense cardio sessions aren't the answer for long-term weight loss success, what kind of cardio sessions are? And the answer is short, moderately intense, even HIIT-style cardio sessions. You see, when we do any form of exercise or physical activity, our bodies have two main fuel sources that it can use. It can either use fat or it can use carbs. And depending on the intensity and the type of exercise that you're doing or the type of physical activity you're doing, that will determine the fuel that your body chooses to use. Now, in order for your body to use fat for fuel, your body needs to be able to take in and process enough oxygen. And unfortunately, during intense cardio sessions, your body cannot efficiently take in enough or process enough oxygen, so your body's going to turn to using carbohydrates as its primary fuel source. Think of it like a sprinter and a marathon runner. Now, the sprinter, even though their event is short, 100 meters or 200 meters, they're running at maximal effort for that period of time. So because they're running at maximal effort, they can't properly take in and utilize oxygen. So their primary source of energy is going to be carbohydrates. Whereas a marathon runner, even though that runner is running relatively fast, but compared to the sprinter, they're not running at maximal effort. And because their event is drawn out over a longer period of time, and because of training, they become so efficient at burning fat as an energy source that fat can become their primary source of energy. Now, yes, they are going to use some carbohydrates, but again, because of training, they have become so efficient, they have made their bodies so efficient at taking in and processing oxygen that they can rely primarily on fat as their source of energy. Now, moderately intense cardio is great at burning fat for fuel, but there's an even better form of exercise that's even better at using fat for energy. And this form of exercise most people that are new to exercising or new to the gym often overlook. And I think that one of the biggest reasons why most people overlook it is, again, it's not as simple as just putting on a pair of sneakers and going for a walk or going for a run. So when you lift weights and you do it the right way, your body is using almost 100% fat as fuel. And this is the main reason why strength training or weightlifting is the best form of exercise for burning fat. And just remember, when I say burning fat, what I want you to interpret that as losing weight, because when most people say they want to lose weight, what they really mean is they want to burn fat. But there's two main reasons why lifting weights or strength training is the best form of exercise for burning fat. So there's something called the afterburn effect of exercise. And this essentially means the length of time that your metabolism stays elevated after doing a form of exercise. And studies show that cardio has an afterburn effect of anywhere from 15 minutes to 24 hours, which is really good. However, the afterburn effect of weightlifting or strength training is up to 72 hours. Now, of course, the length of the workout and the intensity of the workout will somewhat determine how long your metabolism will stay elevated after the workout. But for the most part, you're going to get a much greater afterburn effect from doing strength training and weightlifting than you would from doing cardio. So the afterburn effect is the first reason why lifting weights and strength training is more effective for burning fat than doing cardio. Now, muscle is the main tissue in your body that uses fat for energy. And having more muscle is going to lead to you burning more fat for energy. And of course, weight training is a far better way of building that muscle that's going to lead to you burning more fat. So having more muscle, which leads to you burning more fat, and strength training being better at building muscle is the second reason why lifting weights and strength training is better than doing cardio for fat burning. So the third do not do on today's list is do not skip weight training. But before we get to the next do not do on today's list, you're probably wondering how much strength training or how much weightlifting should I do? And this is a complicated answer because everyone is so different and everyone's goals are different. So my normal recommendation when meeting a new client or just meeting someone new that has this question is I normally recommend about 3 to 4 weight training sessions per week starting out. And if you're completely new starting out, I would recommend doing 2 split sessions per week of 2 upper body sessions and 2 lower body sessions. Now you want to make sure that you give your body at least 24 or so hours of rest before you work the same muscles again. So here's an example split of what I would do for a new client. So let's say Monday, we take Monday as our starting of the week. I would have them do an upper body day on Monday, and then I would have them do a lower body day on Tuesday. Then I would have them have an optional day off on Wednesday or just do cardio on Wednesday. And then on Thursday, they would repeat what they did on Monday. And then Friday, they would repeat what they did on Tuesday. And then Saturday or Sunday can be 2 days off, 2 complete days off, or they can just do cardio on Saturday and Sunday. And that would be like an example of a beginner's week of doing this type of split type of session where you do 2 days of upper body and 2 days of lower body. Now, this is a great place for a beginner to start. And over time, as you become more advanced, you can build more complexity into your program as needed or if wanted. And if you're completely new or you're just getting back into it and you want to know what you should do, the specifics of what you should do to get you from where you're at to where you want to be, no hard sell, but click the first link below in the description, fill out the form, and together we'll figure out exactly what you need to do in your strength training routine, in your weightlifting routine to get you from where you're at to where you want to be. So I've been a personal trainer and a fat loss, weight loss coach since 1990. And when I first got into this business, weight loss diets were completely different than they are today. Everything was either low fat or it was some type of diet food. And the belief back then was that fat was the problem and all you needed to do was stop eating fat and that would solve your weight loss problem. But another problem was created when these food companies tried to solve the weight loss problem. You see, what happened was when they started removing the fat from the food, what they soon realized was the food just didn't taste really good. And I don't know about you, but if a food don't taste good, I don't care how much it's going to help me reach my goals. I don't care about any of that. If it don't taste good, I'm not eating it. And I know there's some people out there that can eat whatever just for the sake of them reaching their goals. But if you're like me If it don't taste good, I don't care what it's going to do for me. I'm not eating it.
Absolutely not. It's not going to happen.
So what did these food companies do to fix the problem? Well, what they did was they started adding things like more sugar into the food. They started adding things like fake sugars into the food, and they started adding things like trans fats into the foods. Now, this solved the taste problem, but it then created another problem. But this problem, unfortunately, wasn't realized or wasn't noticed till many years later. You see, in the early 2000s, study after study started coming out that showed that even though we were eating less fat, we were fatter than ever.
I'm not fat. I'm big boned.
Now, the question is, how could science have gotten this so wrong? You see, nowadays you've heard of calories in and calories out. But back then, calories in and calories out wasn't really talked about. However, it was still a thing, and it always will be a thing for weight loss. You see, while companies were taking out the fat from food, they were adding back in all these other things like the trans fats and the artificial sweeteners and the sugar, and they were adding in, not only adding in these things, but they were adding in the same amount of calories from these things, and in some cases, they were even adding in more calories into these foods. But eventually people and science realized that it wasn't the fat that was a problem. And it really wasn't even the sugar and the artificial sweeteners and the trans fats that were the problem. The problem was that there was still too many calories. We were eating too many calories in our foods, even though we were eating things that were lower in fat. We were eating more sugar and we were eating more of the other stuff. And I still have clients to this day that make this same mistake. These clients eat every diet food and diet low-fat snack food that they can find, and they end up frustrated because even though they're doing what they think is right, and they're removing all the fat and all these other things from their food, they're actually eating more calories. And this is what I often find when I analyze their diets, that they're actually eating more calories than they would have been eating if they just ate the regular versions of these foods. So if you're having trouble losing weight and you're eating a lot of diet foods, I would encourage you to focus more on not what you eat so much, but focus more on how much you're eating. Now, this doesn't mean that you should just go out and eat a bunch of crap foods just because it fits into your calories, because I do ultimately believe that the quality of what we eat is most important. But if you nail the amount part of the equation, how much you eat, it really doesn't matter what you eat. You are going to have a much easier time losing weight. I mean, if you ate nothing but Twinkies all day long, if you didn't go over your daily calories, you're still going to lose weight. And no, I'm not recommending that you try the Twinkie diet, even though I guess on the surface it kind of does sound like it'd be pretty tasty.
That's actually pretty damn good.
I don't know, to be honest with you, I don't know. Let me know down below in the comments how many Twinkies you could eat before you'd get sick of them. My thought is that my number would probably be somewhere around 8 to 10. Like, I'm thinking that I could probably stomach 8 to 10 Twinkies before I probably wouldn't want to eat another Twinkie for a very long time. But let me know down below what your number of Twinkies you could eat before you wouldn't want to eat another Twinkie. And again, if you need help reaching your fitness goals, no hard sell, but click the first link below in the description and let's work together to figure out what we need to do to get you from where you're at to where you want to be.